Hello, Paul here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's April 17th, 2014, and we're at the field in back of my house. And we're going to explain a little bit about what this is. It's basically a meadow. And in the previous hundreds of years, this used to be an old-growth forest. And these forests were cleared for agricultural purposes. But where I'm standing probably was the site of some very large diameter trees, maybe 10 feet in diameter, 5 feet in diameter, really, really big ones. You know, ones you couldn't even barely get your arms stretched around even a small percentage of the trunk. And so what's...
Paul, I noticed that it's growing and that you've not mowed it down with a machine. What is the why do you not mow it, and what is the effect of not mowing it?
Okay, yeah, the question is, why don't I mow it? Well, I have a tractor. It's sitting over there with a good mower, and I could come in here and clear this whole field. But and I used to do that when I was younger, and the kids would do it, and we'd take turns doing it and keeping it manicured and so forth. And what I found is when I would get off the tractor, there'd be an ocean of insects all around the tractor whose homes had been disturbed. And these insects were food for the birds. And so whenever I cut the field, all the birds would leave. And that puzzled me for a while. And then I finally figured out that it was the insects that the birds would eat, and it would give life to the whole ecosystem. It was part of the field. And what else happens when you mow is you pack the soil. And so when the rains come, you have a flooding condition because all that water has to run off because it can't infiltrate into the ground. So it's important to not aggressively mow if you're not going to use it for anything. I mean, why not let it grow into meadow? And we also have these little moles or voles that burrow under the ground and aerate the soil. So what happens is the soil becomes very sponge-like, and it absorbs moisture from the ground, and it can receive the roots from the plants. And there are many kinds of plants that we have here. Right here is a yellow dock, and this is a buttercup. We have a clover. I'll bring these a little closer. There's a clover, a buttercup, and a yellow dock. The yellow dock can be made into flour that people can eat. And of course, we all know this is a dandelion. It was brought over by the Pilgrims as a medicinal plant. And it's wonderful for juicing and for eating and putting in salads. The flowers taste good. A little bit bitter, but very healthy. And look at those go. And so we have just a tremendous array of species here in the meadow. And so if you have a piece of ground that you don't have to mow, well, consider putting it into meadow. It's really a good use for the bees like it, the birds like it, and the kids like it, and it's just a great thing to do with acreage. If you can't put it in trees, trees are the best thing, but if you can't put it into trees, planting trees, then put it into meadow. I recommend that. And
tell me about the moisture that I put my finger down and it's wet.
Yeah, well, what happens when those leaves come up from all the plants that, like you see here, they block the sun, and so that moisture doesn't escape, and the ground stays nice and moist and soft and alive, and all the vermiculture can live there. And but when you take a mower and you mow it flat, what happens is all the sun hits the soil, it kills the vermiculture, and really creates a dead zone. Especially if it's mowed short to the ground, because the sun hits the soil and that's the end of the vermiculture.
And this soil that we're looking at is really quite rich because of the creek that runs in the back?
Right, it's called the alluvial bottom soil, and so what happens is that creek floods maybe once or twice a year, comes out of the banks, not a lot, but a little, and it coats the whole ground here with siltation coming down the creek. And that's been going on for thousands of years. And we've dug in this soil here, and it's about 4 feet deep of just nothing but beautiful chocolate, beautiful brown, black soil. It's very, very rich. And that's why things grow so well here, like gardens and trees. And you can't miss here. I mean, you could be the worst gardener in the world, but you just put a seed in the ground, and it just comes right up. All right, we'll end it there. Thank you for watching. Over and out.